Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. Amanda Quintana in for Susan Simon, who is off today. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Staying cool?
Yes, and it's Friday, so
Yeah,
it's a good
Friday.
day.
It is.
Friday the 13th, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that. Are you
I'm not
suspicious?
superstitious, but no. Are you?
No. It doesn't really bother me. It's just a Friday, so that's good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got lots coming up, including we're going to preview a special telethon that we're going to have next week. We'll tell you all about that. But first, our live team coverage continues this evening out of Sun Prairie as community and city leaders find ways to move forward after a deadly explosion.
Plus, we're trying to find ways to help the victims of Tuesday's explosion, the resources available, and how you can help today on Live at 4.
Let's take a look outside. Wow, it's kind of sweltering out there.
Another steamy day.
This is the place to be, on the lakes, enjoying a little kayaking. Storms will not break heat yet. Gary Canalti is in the backyard. Hot enough for you?
It is. It's very steamy out here, and while the kayaking on the lake is fine for now, that may not be the case in a few hours. Let's start out by taking a look at a severe thunderstorm watch that has just been issued by the National Weather Service until 11 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. Basically, we're watching some thunderstorms out to the west in Iowa. We have an alert day in place, not only for the threat for some strong and severe thunderstorms, but for the very mild and muggy weather this evening with heat index values in the 90s and upper 80s until the storms reach us. Now, as we take a look at visible cloud track, we've been sunny for much of the day here, but notice to the west, big clusters of thunderstorms starting to develop rapidly into Iowa. Some severe thunderstorms in northeastern Iowa, tracking toward the east-northeast toward southern Wisconsin. Nothing in our viewing area yet, but with time, that line of showers and thunderstorms will move eastward, and that's why that severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for southern Wisconsin. Now, the severe weather outlook has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for all of southern Wisconsin for tonight. Once the squall line passes through, I think the threat for severe weather will end mid to late evening. Low temperatures this morning started out in the lower 70s, and that's exactly because of the humidity. Current temperatures, 91 right now in Madison, 90s through much of southern Wisconsin. You factor in dew point temperatures that are in the lower to middle 70s, and right now it feels like 99 in Madison, 103 in Lone Rock. So those thunderstorms are going to be moving into an area where the atmosphere is extremely unstable. And as we take a look at our forecast first, look for shower and thunderstorm chances to develop this evening. They'll continue overnight. At this point, it looks like the greatest threat for severe weather will be this evening. Low temperatures will drop to around 70 by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow won't be quite as warm because of cloud cover. High temperatures still in the lower 80s, and humidity levels will stay high. As we take a look at first alert traffic, that's the I-3990 at County Highway M. You can see traffic moving pretty slowly there. Some delays on the eastbound belt line beginning around Stoughton Road or just west of Stoughton Road all the way back to Verona Road. Westbound, we're seeing delays between Fish Hatchery Road and say around West Broadway. Some delays on US 12 heading northward out of Middleton. And then on the interstate, we're seeing some delays north and southbound around Janesville through the construction zone. Some delays on Highway 12 heading into Walworth County. I-94 looking pretty good into Milwaukee. And then some delays southbound on US 151 between Columbus and Sun Prairie. Some delays northbound on I-3990-94 heading out of Dane County into Columbia County. And then once you get past there, it looks like the traffic moving pretty steadily. That's your first alert traffic.
Friday afternoon traffic.
It is.
All right, Gary, thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Sure.
People are being allowed to visit their homes and businesses in downtown Sun Prairie today as long as they're escorted by a first responder.
Sun Prairie police are asking people to meet them at the corners of Columbus and Angel Streets. This is the first time people have been allowed back inside their homes since Tuesday's deadly gas explosion. We were the first to share this news for you during an alert through our Channel 3000 news app. As of today, the 100 block of Bristol Street remains closed as the investigation into the explosion continues. Verizon Wireless confirmed to News 3 that it had contracted with a company called Bear Communications to improve its network services. Employees with Bear were working on a fiber project when they reportedly hit a gas line which caused the explosion. Sun Prairie firefighter Captain Corey Barr died in the explosion, and more than 10 other people, including 2 other firefighters, were injured. We have live team coverage from Sun Prairie for you this afternoon. Keely Arthur and Rose Schmidt join us from there now.
We start with Rose, who spoke to area business owners today. Rose?
That's right. Now, for the people the businesses owners who are from behind this fence, the area known as the green zone, there's still a question of whether those buildings will be okay or if they'll need to be torn down. The fate of the old City Hall building is in question tonight. The building is more than 100 years old, built in 1895. The building's owner is waiting to find out if the building will have to be torn down due to possible structural damage inside. City officials invited business owners to City Hall today so they could ask questions and get some answers. But for some of them, there's no timeline on when they'll be able to get back inside.
You obviously get closer to the zone, certainly there's more significant damage that has occurred, and it could be everything some things that are aesthetic, some things that could be major, serious safety issues that they need to get evaluated and going forward.
Coming up on News 3 at 5, we'll hear from the owners of a shop inside that historic old City Hall building. They got a first look today at what's left through the rubble, but don't know when they'll be able to get back inside. Now, police said today that the death investigation will likely take days, not weeks, so that gives some of these business owners a peace of mind.
Rose Schmidt reporting live from Sun Prairie. Thank you, Rose. We are also learning more about the accomplishments of the firefighter who died during that explosion. The American Legion in Sun Prairie awarded Corey Barr the Firefighter of the Year award in 2016. This is a picture of Captain Barr with his wife and twin daughters shortly after accepting the award.
And there's an opportunity to show your support for Captain Barr and firefighters all across Wisconsin. A public memorial visitation for Barr will be held at the Sun Prairie High School tomorrow from 8 to 10, and then the services for Barr will begin at 11. There's a private visitation for his family and close friends this evening. A special U.S. honor flag is in Wisconsin to honor Corey Barr. It was brought to funerals to pay tribute to those who have lost their lives in the line of duty protecting others. An Army veteran took the flag to Ground Zero after the September 11th attacks and has used the flag to honor others since. The flag was flown in from South Florida and arrived in Milwaukee earlier this morning. And flags across Wisconsin are also flying at half-staff to honor Captain Barr. Governor Walker says his memory and legacy of selflessness and service will live on through his family and his crew.
And a billboard also went up today in honor of Captain Barr. It says, "Fallen, never forgotten, Captain Corey Barr." It's located along I-151 as you come into Madison. Thousands of people are donating money to help the Barr family. A GoFundMe account so far has raised $166,000. Captain Barr leaves behind a wife and twin 3-year-old daughters. We have a link to this GoFundMe page and one for Ryan Welch online at channel3000.com.
And Welch is one of the other firefighters injured in the explosion. He was released from the hospital yesterday and returned home to his second family in a special ceremony last night. You can watch more of his video reunion online at channel3000.com. More than a half dozen organizations are joining forces to help the victims of Tuesday's explosion.
They're at the Sun Prairie High School where Keely Arthur joins us live.
Well, some of the people Tuesday night lost everything, so they're going to need a lot of help to recover, and that's exactly what is happening here at the high school right behind me. We're talking Salvation Army, the Red Cross, United Way, the Knights of Columbus, all here to help the victims get back on their feet. I spoke with the executive director of the Sunshine Place, a Sun Prairie Resource Center. When I asked her what the people needed most, she said money. Enough to get a roof over the heads of more than a dozen displaced families.
There are families that have lost it all. They have lost it all between not only the place that they're staying, but their clothing, their food. Their memories are forever gone. And that in itself, it's heartbreaking, and we want to be able to restore that.
The event at Sun Prairie High School is on Grove Street. It's going on until 8. And again, the most needed donations is financial donations. If you want to contribute, you can go to our website, channel3000.com. We have plenty of resources up on there. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Keely.
And our community has been shocked and saddened by the stories that we've seen in Sun Prairie, but it has also we've also been moved to action, and so we have at News 3. On Tuesday, News 3 is working with the Bank of Sun Prairie. We're hosting an all-day telethon to raise money for the Disaster Relief Fund. Our phone lines will open at 4:30 a.m. and run until our final newscast of the day at 10:30. The Bank of Sun Prairie is assuring that 100% of all the proceeds collected will stay in Sun Prairie. Again, join us on July 17th, that's next Tuesday, as we come together to give back to those in need.
And we want to show you a sweet moment to come from this disaster. This is one of the handmade cards sent to the Sun Prairie Police Department. The department posted the photo on Facebook saying, "Sometimes it's the smallest gestures that make the difference." They said the cards have been reminding them of how lucky they are to have the overwhelming love and support of the community. And as always, stick with News 3 as we learn more about the investigation, the community response, the firefighter just released from the hospital, and of course, Captain Corey Barr. We will have the latest on News 3 at 5 and on Channel 3000.
Other news this Friday, a dozen Russians are indicted for meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
How this could impact the president's upcoming meet with the president of Russia when Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back. More people from Russia have been indicted in an alleged cyber scheme to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein made the announcement this morning. The indictments are part of the ongoing special counsel probe into potential coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia. The Russians are accused of hacking into the computer networks of the Democratic National Committee and the presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton. Before the newest indictments, 20 people and 3 companies companies had been charged in the Mueller investigation. The president is in London this evening. A large crowd of around 250,000 people are protesting his visit. The president met with British Prime Minister Theresa May. The leaders pledged to work together to strengthen NATO and negotiate new U.S. and UK trade deals. President Trump will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Finland on Monday.
Johnson & Johnson is vowing to appeal a record judgment against the company. A jury awarded $4.7 billion to nearly 24 people suing over what they claim was cancer-causing talcum powder. 22 women and their families say the asbestos in the talcum powder contributed to their ovarian cancer. 6 of the 22 women involved in the lawsuit have died. Talc is a primary ingredient in Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and shower products, and medical experts testified it contained asbestos. Lawyers for the women argued the company knew about the asbestos but failed to warn consumers. It took the jury less than a full day to return a verdict. Stocks ended the week up slightly. The Dow Industrials gained 94 points, ending the week at 25,019. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 2. The S&P 500 was up 3. Well, there's a large amount of specialty foods on the market right now.
Nikki Batiste is visiting the Fancy Food Show in New York City with what could soon end up on your plate.
So tell me how that works with the cauliflower.
Move over, kale. Cauliflower is trending. Denise Purcell from the Specialty Food Association says the veggie's popularity is expanding way beyond what you may have seen in pizza crust or rice.
But what's interesting now is we're seeing a lot more packaged products.
They taste just like pretzels.
Yeah.
We tried award-winning cauliflower pretzels and crackers at the 64th Annual Summer Fancy Food Show.
Everything's plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO.
The number of plant-based offerings continues to grow.
I don't even know if we could call it a trend anymore. It's more like a lifestyle movement.
Purcell says it's all part of consumers embracing better-for-you products.
Health and wellness has definitely become an overarching trend in specialty foods.
And new types of drinks are pouring into the market.
We're seeing a lot of sparkling beverages and a lot of functional beverages.
This is the white grape.
We sampled water from Israel, steeped in grape skins left over from the winemaking process, and beverages with added health benefits, like coffee with resveratrol, the healthy ingredient in red wine.
We have the Philippine lemon.
More flavors from the Philippines and North Africa are headed to store shelves, like spicy harissa.
Upcycled products are another big trend.
Upcycling uses leftovers from one product to create another. Rise is a company making the most out of brewery byproducts.
We collect the brewer's spent grain and convert it into high-protein, high-fiber, low-carbohydrate flour.
With more healthy and sustainable choices, consumers can find more on the menu that's good for them and the planet. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
Other trends include simple ingredients, meaning no unnecessary additives.
People are also choosing items that look interesting since they're often sharing photos of them on social media. Millennials are driving many of these trends.
You looked at me when you said millennials. I do take pictures of my food, I'll say it.
A lot of people do. I'll stick with the Captain Crunch.
Colorful for a good picture.
There you go. Well, the potential for storms this evening won't break the heat in southern Wisconsin. Gary's got the details in your first alert forecast after the break.
And the heat is a concern for doctors, especially in July. The warning they have for people as we enter the dog days of summer.
Let the
Take a look at this. It was dollar hot dog night at the Cardinals-White Sox game, and a Sox fan was spotted with mustard on his face.
Oh.
He didn't know he was cutting the mustard until he got a phone call while he was seated in the stand. Apparently, somebody at home was watching TV. They called the guy to tell him his face was covered in mustard. His wife was trying to help him out here. He thought it was on his lips. He kept trying to figure out where it was. He finally found it on the side of his face. Figured it all out. And get this, Heinz Ketchup saw the video. They tweeted the mustard cheek man who showed his love of mustard. They gave him a season's worth of tickets and a year's worth of Heinz mustard.
Mustard is fine on a hot dog. Just don't put ketchup on a Chicago dog. If that was at or Guaranteed Rate Field, wherever the
I'm
White
sure
Sox
it was.
plays, so.
Well, it paid for him to have the
It
mustard
did.
on his face.
It is Friday, July 13th.
Yes, the 13th, a day associated with bad luck. So much so that it is considered part of a legitimate phobia. Do you have a phobia?
No, I don't. Well, I have a fear of heights. I don't know, is that a phobia?
I have a fear of Friday the 13th.
There you go.
You
Well,
do?
it is a thing.
You do.
And
There
it's
we go.
also Car Collector Appreciation Day. They got a big car show going up in Iola this weekend.
Would you like some fries with that? It's National French Fry Day. Now, the phrase French fried potatoes made its debut in print in 1856. And the French part actually doesn't refer to the country. It's the way the potatoes are cut. Just like, it looks like the country of France, right?
Yeah.
Not.
Remember that whole thing with freedom fries?
Yeah.
Don't go there. You know, I'm not playing to the crowd here, Gary, but I love McDonald's French fries.
They're good, especially when they're hot. I'll tell you that.
They got to be hot.
So that's the key.
He's our McDonald's expert here.
The McDonald's fries are the best, I think, of the fast food.
Just step outside if you want the heat.
Yeah, you can fry.
There you go. You'll fry yourself. But
And
we
some
also have
storms
the
may be
potential for
coming,
some
yeah.
severe weather too. We got a severe thunderstorm watch out. I'll tell you how long it's in effect until in just a few minutes in our first look forecast. So that's what I was It is steamy out there. Temperatures are in the lower 90s. The dew point temperatures are in the 70s. And so it feels close to 100 degrees. We do have an alert day in the forecast, not only for the very mild, muggy conditions this evening with heat index values staying into the 90s for part of the evening and upper 80s after that, but there's also the threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms. And the Storm Prediction Center has just come out with a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. for eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and parts of northwestern Illinois. These areas here are severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a little line of thunderstorms that has been developing across parts of eastern Iowa. You see those storms starting to blow up ahead of an area that has been cooled by rain and clouds farther to the west. So on the front edge of that, that's where the severe thunderstorm threat is the highest. And you can see these severe thunderstorm warnings around Decorah, Iowa. That one in effect until 5:15, until 5 o'clock back to the west of there. But all of these thunderstorms are tracking off toward the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. And there's plenty of rain with them as well. So not only is the threat there for strong gusty winds and maybe some small hail, with the temperatures this warm, a lot of the hail melts before it reaches the ground, but also the potential is there for some heavy rainfall. So we'll have to see if that leads to some localized flooding. In fact, there are flash flood watches in effect for parts of central Iowa. But that severe thunderstorm watch covers southern Wisconsin because that's where these storms are moving in from. Also some additional development in southeastern Iowa heading northeastward. But it looks like pretty much a one-shot deal for the severe weather. Once that comes through this evening, the threat for severe weather will probably come to an end. Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe weather over all of southern Wisconsin. They've already cut off the western end of that as the storms have moved through western Iowa. But here in southern Wisconsin, that slight risk here. High wind probability is the highest. A slight risk of that. Hail probability is lower, but not entirely gone. Again, the hail probably small in size just because it'll melt before it reaches the ground. And just a very, very small chance of an isolated tornado to develop, but wind would be the main threat from these thunderstorms. Future Doppler track over the next 3 hours takes these storms through much of southwestern Wisconsin, probably reaching the Madison area sometime around 8 to 9 o'clock, and then the severe weather threat probably ending pretty quickly after that. Look at the difference in temperatures. 90s over southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, where the rain is cool the air, temperatures are in the 70s, and so that basically just sets up a front right in here that's triggering the next round of thunderstorms. More importantly, though, the dew point temperatures, and you can see it's really not much of a front because the air is just as humid behind those thunderstorms as it is in front of it, so it's not a real cold front, but the dew point temperatures are very high, lower to middle 70s, and so in the areas where temperatures are in the 90s, it feels close to 100 in Madison and in the triple digits across parts of northern Illinois. So that is dangerously hot for some people. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam in Platteville. We've set that camera out looking out toward the west. Still some sunshine showing there, but the clouds starting to build up. WISC Skycam starting to show a little more vertical development too in the clouds. Edgewater Skycam looking off toward the southeast, still showing plenty of sunshine in downtown Madison. The almanac for today, high temperature 91 so far, the low at 73, and right now we're sitting at 91 degrees. The winds are out of the south at 11 miles per hour. Dew point temperature at 73, so it feels like it's 99 here in Madison. Temperatures will be in the lower 80s for tomorrow thanks to thunderstorms, back to the upper 80s on Sunday, mid 80s on Monday, and then right around 80 for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. As the humidity levels drop, there'll be a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm on Thursday, but even on Friday with the high temperatures in the lower 80s, it'll feel much more comfortable. On weather track, you can see these thunderstorms developing, the jet stream basically in a west to east pattern, so there's really not a lot of cooling even behind the thunderstorms. Notice temperatures still in the mid 80s in northern Minnesota, in the 90s back to the west in the Dakotas, so it's just mainly the rain-cooled air that is triggering this area of thunderstorms. And dew point temperatures are in the 70s, but notice the winds just coming in out of the south, just pumping that moisture into southern Wisconsin. So on future track, these thunderstorms will come through this evening. We'll still see some showers and storms overnight. Those are not likely to be severe. And then some shower and thunderstorm chances during the day tomorrow, and the clouds holding temperatures down. But by Sunday, temperatures will start bouncing back up. The next batch of showers and storms will come with this front that'll reach us Sunday night and then lead to a little more significant cooling as we head into next week. So again, severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. for all of southern Wisconsin. Look for an overnight low temperature of 68. Showers and thunderstorms are likely. Severe weather threat mainly early to mid-evening. High tomorrow 82, not as warm, but still humid with some showers and thunderstorms. Future track takes that line of storms through, but more storms developing overnight. Low temperatures in the lower 70s. Highs tomorrow lower 80s with off and on shower and thunderstorm chances. Most of those will move out of here tomorrow evening. And then for Sunday, we'll see dry weather with more thunderstorms developing late in the day. High temperatures getting back up into the mid to upper 80s. As far as rainfall amounts are concerned, we could be looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain through early Monday morning through much of southern Wisconsin, especially in the areas that get the heavier showers and thunderstorms. 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures at least cool off closer to 80 for the middle part of next week, and a drop in the humidity will make it feel pretty nice. Again, a chance of a shower and thunderstorm Thursday. A little better chances as we head into the latter part of next weekend as temperatures start to get back up at least for a little while.
I find it interesting. It's so hot that the hail would melt.
Well, I mean, you can think about it. I mean, you know, the hail develops in the top part of the thunderstorm where, you know, temperatures are well below zero. But as it falls, it's got to go through a big layer of above freezing temperatures and gets close to the ground. It's going to melt. A lot of it will, or at least shrink in size.
So 7, 8 o'clock for...
I'm thinking here in Madison,
you know,
earlier before for southwestern Wisconsin, probably about 8 or 9 here in Madison.
Okay, keep an eye on things.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
Hundreds of people die every year because of the heat. The CDC warns that July is the worst month for these deaths.
And it doesn't have to be over 100 degrees for things to be dangerous. Danielle Nottingham shares ways to stay safe.
Adrienne Gonzalez is prepared when she goes hiking in the Hollywood Hills.
I drink lots of water, especially because I'm preggy, so I have to drink double the amount of water.
Do you stop and take some breaks?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Heat waves across the country this summer are being blamed for several deaths and hospitalizations. The Centers for Disease Control estimates nearly 40% of heat-related deaths happen in July.
It doesn't need to be 100 if it's very humid but still warm, and if you're doing an activity that's very strenuous, you can suffer a heat illness.
Emergency room Dr. Tom Waters from the Cleveland Clinic says it's crucial to recognize heat illness.
By the time you're thirsty, you are already getting dehydrated.
Signs of heat exhaustion include nausea, dizziness, lightheadedness, and headaches. The young or elderly are at higher risk.
This is not something you want to try and tough it out or work through. If you start to get symptoms of heat exhaustion, what you need to do is you need to remove yourself from the heat stress.
If you don't, it could become heat stroke. That's when the body can no longer cool itself and confusion sets in. If left untreated, it can be life-threatening. Jose Perez and his crew drink plenty of water to stay hydrated when they're fixing gas lines during the hottest part of the day.
We try to do some work and then go take a break, water breaks, shade breaks, whatever we gotta do to keep going. But, you know, if it gets too much, it's never done.
Experts say prevention is the best way to beat a heat illness. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And listen to this. Last year, most heat deaths took place inside.
And victims were generally women over 71 years old, often living alone. Well, a nice cool movie theater might be the ticket this weekend, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is back on the big screen.
We'll find out what Skyscraper is all about when Live at 4 continues. Live shot from our Henry Vila Zoo camera. Some people enjoying the animals on this Friday afternoon.
Good day to be outside.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, today is a pretty big day here at Channel 3. It is our website, Channel 3000's birthday.
Our website is 20 years old today. First launched on July 13th, 1998. Make sure to visit our website, channel3000.com, for a look back at some of the biggest headlines over the years and to see how the site has changed in the past 2 decades. Had a little get together here at the station today. And then there was one Blockbuster video store in the United States, that is. It's located in Bend, Oregon. 2 locations in Alaska set to close their doors next week. That will leave the Bend store as the last operating Blockbuster in the United States, though there are still some overseas. At its peak in 2004, there were 9,000 Blockbuster video stores in operation.
I'm surprised there's still one left. I thought they were all gone.
No, one?
Got one left.
One left.
Well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's latest movie finds the action star scaling the exterior of a massive burning building.
The movie's called Skyscraper. It opens today. Rick DiMagella has more.
Dwayne Johnson fights to save his family from a building under siege in Skyscraper.
Well, the inspiration for the film was, of course, this man's inspiration as the writer and director. He wanted to make a movie that paid homage to these movies that inspired us, as well as generations. Die Hard, Towering Inferno, The Fugitive, Cliffhanger.
What do you think of the building?
The Pearl is the most advanced super tall structure in the world.
Writer-director Rawson Thurber wrote the movie with Johnson in mind.
We also wanted to create a character that also was something that I had never played before in the past, and that challenge for me was very appealing. And, you know, two big things. The A side is being a family man, and this idea that my family is trapped in a burning building above the fire line. I can't go up through the building, so I have to use my ingenuity a little bit.
How did you get in the building?
Jumped off a super crane. What? The B side to this character that he wrote that really moved me was the fact that I was an amputee and I had one leg. I had to do all of this with one leg, which meant I was barely surviving the entire movie.
Sarah, listen to me. The fire is not going to stop. Keep going up. Don't stop. Don't look back.
Nev Campbell didn't shy away from doing some of her own stunts.
I did most of my stunts. I did have a wonderful stunt woman, but I did the majority of it and certainly did all my fight sequences. What I loved about the script is, although it's a really wonderful action movie, you get all the things that you want from an action movie, I love the female character. I love the fact that she's not your typical damsel in distress in an action film. She's not the woman waiting to be saved. She's strong, she's courageous, she's intelligent, she's, you know, powerful in her own right and an equal counterpart to the male lead.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick DiMagella.
That looks like fun.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go see it tomorrow. That convinced me. Well, it draws thousands of people to downtown Madison every year.
After the break, we're getting artsy. We're going over some of the new things happening this year at the Art Fair on the Square. That's coming up next.
It's a hot and steamy Friday on the roads, and the roads are responding accordingly. This is the live view from the DOT traffic camera on the Beltline at Fish Hatchery Road. Slow traffic in both directions. Looks like the right lane eastbound is stopped right now approaching Park Street. Slowdowns on the eastbound Beltline beginning around Monona Drive going back to around Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Todd Drive and then head back to around John Nolan Drive. Some delays on Stoughton Road and also on US 12 heading northbound out of Middleton. About a 24-minute commute eastbound on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 19 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Down to Janesville on I-3990, just shy of a half hour. 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. It takes an Egyptian artist just a few minutes to paint an entire portrait upside down. At super speed, 23-year-old Albert Magdi uses a pair of brushes to paint famous celebrities. The bigger the portrait, the less time it takes Magdi to paint it. He averages between 2 to 4 minutes a painting. As he applies powder to this piece, the face of actor Will Smith emerges. The longest it ever took him to create a portrait was 6 minutes. Interesting.
So cool.
It is very cool. He does this a lot in front of audiences, too. So.
Oh, and I didn't think it was Will Smith, and then suddenly
He's there.
Very cool.
It's one of the biggest summer weekends in Madison, the Art Fair on the Square.
That is right. It is sponsored by the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art. The fair is celebrating its 60th anniversary, and to tell us about this year's event is Erica Monroe-Kane from the museum. Welcome.
60 years, that's hard to believe.
60 years, it's incredible. It's a real wonderful tradition.
It started out how big?
It was just a little sidewalk sale. So the museum has been using this event as a fundraiser for the entire history of the event. It was a modest little sidewalk sale that's just grown, and really it speaks to the response of the community that this is something that people want to come out, they want to meet artists, they want to talk about the artwork, and it's just been a tradition that people have loved.
Mm-hmm.
So how many artists, how many vendors will be there?
We'll have nearly 500 artists arranged around the square and the 100 block of State Street. So there's really something for everyone. It's all different styles of art, different mediums, but all of the artwork is very high quality. It's a juried show. It's very difficult to get into. So when you walk around, you can see ceramics and glass-blown items, furniture, metal smithing, and then just traditional oil painting. So there's really a lot to see.
And when you say jury, that means there's a jury.
That's right.
That decides.
That's right.
Picks the artist, and they're from all over the country.
That's exactly right. So the jury has a really tough job. They go through many different applications. We receive 4 times the number of applications that we can accept. So they spend a lot of time looking at all of the artwork, and then they make the best decisions they can. So they want to make sure that there's work in many different mediums, but also that it's very, very well done. And local artists compete with artists from all across the country, and they're very well represented. I mean, we have an incredible artist community in Madison and in the area, so a lot of local and Wisconsin artists are represented.
And so this is a fundraiser.
Right, yeah. So the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is completely free. You can walk in for 5 minutes, for 5 hours. It costs nothing to come in. But as a nonprofit, independent art museum, we need fundraising events like this to keep the doors open for free. We serve nearly 500,000 people a year in the museum and around the community. We serve 25,000 children. So Art Cart, for example, many people know that program. It goes to nearly 90 locations around Greater Madison. It's free. You bring your kids, you have a wonderful time, you learn about art, but to make all that possible, we need events like Art Fair on the Square to be successful. So if people come down, they can have a great time, but they can also feel really good about the fact that this is just going right back into the community, and it's something that everyone in the community can enjoy.
And there's no admission to get onto the square.
That's right.
But buy a soda or a hot dog?
Yeah, we like you to buy a little something to drink and have a little something to eat. You know, the Imoca concession stands, those dollars go right back into the museum and the museum programs, but people will find something that they'll want. There's so many delicious things around the square, and there's bands to listen to. So if it gets a little warm, you feel a little like you want a break, just sit in the grass, listen to some music, have something to eat or drink, and then, you know, get up and walk around a little bit again.
And the weather looks okay.
The weather looks okay.
Not great. I mean, it could be better, but it's the middle of summer.
That's exactly right. It's going to be a summer weekend. It'll be warm. We might get a little rain, but this event is on. Rain or shine, we're going to be down there. We invite people to come. Bring your umbrella, walk around. We'll be there. We'll be very happy to see people. And so I just really encourage people to come on down.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, that's right.
until 6 o'clock?
So on Saturday, it is 9 to 6, and on Sunday, it's 10 to 5.
And our friends are for Off the Square, too, are on Monona Terrace.
That's right.
And you'll all just sort of mingle and
Yes.
go back and forth.
That's right.
It should be a great weekend, and I hope you raise lots of money.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.
Let the
Keep an eye on the weather this evening.
Yeah, some strong to severe thunderstorms out to the west of us. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's currently in effect until 11 p.m. That's live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. You can see the clouds starting to build up. Temperatures right now, lower 90s here with dew point temperatures in the lower 70s and the heat index values approaching 100 here in Madison and above 100 just out to the west of us. Temperatures will slowly fall into the lower 70s by early tomorrow morning. Showers and thunderstorms overnight, some showers and storms during the day tomorrow, holding high temperatures down to around 82. Best chances for stronger severe thunderstorms will be early to mid-evening most areas.
And no big break in the heat until like Monday or Tuesday.
Then, yeah, well, then we'll have a few days with less humidity. It'll feel much more comfortable.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Comfortable.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Sure.
Monday here on Live at 4, Dr. Zorba Pastor will be along to answer your medical questions.
And we'll tell you about a special telethon that we're holding to help the people of Sun Prairie who are rebuilding their lives and their community.
We'll be right back with Lola's Lowdown.
Welcome back. In this week's Lola's Lowdown Animal Roundup, the dog days of summer live up to their name.
It is hot all over, and that leads off this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown. Lola reports it's a hot day in Portland, and if you're an otter with a lot of fur, it's hard to keep cool. These little guys found a solution: ice baths. Heavy on the ice. The average otter has up to 1 million hairs per square inch. That's the thickest fur of any mammal. So it's otters on the rocks. Have you ever seen a baby porcupine? The Brookfield Zoo in Chicago just welcomed one, and we're on pins and needles. The baby prehensile-tailed porcupine was born on July 2nd. It's the first of its kind to be born at the zoo and is yet to be named. Do you know a newborn porcupine's quills are soft at birth, but typically harden within a few days? And get this, baby porcupines are actually called porcupets. Cats may have 9 lives, but do they have a 6th sense? You can see these felines in a cat cafe scurry for cover during an earthquake in Japan. Now, let's go back in the video nearly 10 seconds before the quake starts. And you can see several cats' heads suddenly pop up and a few others running across the floor. Moments later, everything starts to shake and they scurry for cover. The question is, did these cats sense the earthquake before it happened? And finally, Archie is a 5-year-old golden retriever and is something of a thief. And he won't give up his bounty. His owner, Dawn Barvecki, catches it all on camera.
You don't know how to dial the phone. Can I have the phone? Archie, can we talk about this? Can I have my shoe? Can I have the shoe? Guess that's a no. You stink. Get over here. Archie. This is how he does it. Unbelievable. Did you take that wallet again?
Did?
Yeah. Give it to me. Well, that's Dad's shoe, so you could have that.